Vitek here with Metal Wani. With us today we have Christie Oakes. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I also go by the name Bella D, which is my performing name.
That's right.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I got a copy of the Crystal Ceiling a couple of days ago, and I've been listening to it. A pretty different kind of an album, but I'm more of a concept-oriented person, so this is like a treat for me.
Oh, good,
So
good.
now I know I'd like to know about it in terms because we still have a month left for fans to actually get a feeling of the album. But how is the level of excitement in you to make sure that this songs, the amount of work you put, will be out in just another 4 weeks?
It's really exciting, and I think it's a good kind of exciting. Charlie Z, who's my producer and co-writer, and also drummer. He's a man of many hats.
Hmm.
He and I are just working really hard to make sure that we have all of the details put into place. It's a lot of work to get this album out. It was a lot of work to get it written. It was a lot of work to get it where it is today, and it's a lot of work to get it actually out and into the public. But we wouldn't have it any other way. It's the album was a labor of love.
Right.
So and we weren't ready to let it go until it was absolutely perfect.
That's cool. Good to hear that. And even a song like "End of the World" is already out, and you must have done some sort
Mhm.
of a research to figure out how your fans or the new followers are liking the sound.
I we have. I've gotten lots of positive feedback from some of the fans in regards to End of the World, and they're really digging just how big the sound is.
Hmm.
It's unusual. Charlie and I worked really hard to make almost like a soundtrack symphonic kind of sound that we really wanted to just envelop the listener. So I think that was what surprised most everybody in regards to the album. Is the first thing that most people say out of their mouths is like, "Wow, this is
So
huge,"
on a
and meaning
grand
like it's
level.
just yeah, it's everything's out there. So it's exciting because we're getting the feedback that we wanted to get from it, and I can't wait for everybody to hear the album because I think from beginning to end it's pretty darn special and gets everybody going and rocking, I think.
That's good to hear, and it's also a concept album. So even you are more like a
Yes.
fan of the various grand level kind of vision you have in terms of writing novels and even the broader sci-fi stuff. And so this must have been
Right.
more like a great engrossing experience to be part of it and to evolve over the period of time. So I was just wondering what inspired you to write a dystopian kind of a story behind this album.
Well, the music kind of did. Originally, when Charlie Z and I got together and we decided to write this album, it literally took a life of its own. And one of the things that was really impressive was we started with one song, and the one song, went to another song and another song. And I'm a very visual person, so as we were writing this, I had all of this almost like a movie going on in my head, and the
Hmm.
music was its soundtrack. So the story popped up from that, and I said, you know what, this needs to be a concept album. And I told Charlie my idea and my story, and he's like, absolutely, you are absolutely correct. This needs to be a concept album. So we sat down and we turned it into this almost epic movie. And to answer your question in regards to the dystopian society, it that was just what I saw when we were writing this. I saw a city. I saw a wrecked city, a city that was full of people that were trying to survive and get by, just on their day-to-day basis.
Hmm.
So that's where it basically came from, and the whole album is about surviving and overcoming hardship and basically living your life.
Right. That's interesting because even from I went through the entire structure which was written about the construction was more of a companionship where you find yourself in the middle of the war, where you have to
Yes.
look into various aspects of it. So such writing requires more amount of focus, and also the kind of the in detail analysis of how the entire thing is, instead of just a broad picture. So this must have taken a lot of time to conceptualize this. So did this kind of evolve as you were writing, or is what it was first finished by you, that okay, this is what the story is going to be, and then you guys started writing songs?
It was a little bit of both, to be quite honest. Like we started with the music itself first. That's what started it, and then that got the gears in my head going, and then it started to go hand in hand after that. We realized we were trying to tell a story, so we kind of shaped the music. I mean, the music was there. We had already had the foundation of it there, but as far as the lyrics and the emotion behind the songs and how we took the foundation and then built the story upon it, that's kind of how it evolved. So it started out just as a couple of songs, and then all of a sudden the story appeared, and then the story started to help guide the rest of the music into in fact, like the order of the songs, and also how they connected to each other. So it was a little bit of both.
Interesting, because I went through the Crystal Ceiling, then I went through the Shattered Mirror and Battle On. It felt linked, and I could easily figure out that there was a good amount of time put into ordering as well, and also with Charlie writing most of the stuff. So how was it working with him? Because he's known to he's worked with Druidus, he's worked with the extreme metal giants, Bottled Sign. So it's like two different sides of music he has worked with that. But when we talk about this, it must have been a pretty different experience, you guys interacting. So when you were writing lyrics, was he kind of part of it, maybe helping you to evolve, or it was just you totally focusing?
Oh no, very much. It was very much a team effort. We would have many hours at night, and we'd kind of start out with a general idea of what we wanted the lyrics to be, and I pounded out a couple of lines, and he'd say, well, let's see if this sounds better if we do this. And and then he'd say, well, how about this? And I'd say, no, well, how about this? And it would become, oh yeah, that works better, that flows better. So it was a very good marriage between the two of us when it came to working on this album. Like we complement each other very, very well. And yeah, he's worked with some of the most amazing people. He's extremely, extremely talented and blows me away a lot of the times, but he also allows the artist to be the artist. That's one of the things that I really enjoy working with him. He doesn't, like there's some producers out there that'll steamroll you and try and pigeonhole you into what they want you to be. But he's very much about the artist doing what they need to do, and him kind of guiding it where they need to go, but without forcing them in that direction. So he's great to work with. I mean, I met him in high school, actually.
Oh, it's a long time back.
Long time, and our paths split for a little while, and then it came back to the fact when Charlie Z was doing his Drumageddon video in Times Square. You can see it on YouTube. It's really cool. He asked me if I just wanted to be in it with him, and I said, yeah, sure, why not? Let's do this. And so I did the video, and then I started talking to him about this album that I wanted to put out and the idea behind it, and he's like, let's go talk. Let's go see what we have, and let's see if we can work together. And so that's where we wrote the first song together, and we're kind of
Awesome.
like, this works out. So, and not only did it work out, it went crazy. Like I was there every night, at his studio writing with him, and he was writing the music, and I was hard on the lyrics, and we kind of just made a really good team. So.
Excellent. It's good to hear. And also from your personal point of view, this has been a midway you went through the terrible news about your cancer, and then it must have been more like a healing experience to express that through this album, definitely. Because it's like a platform to express how you've been going through. So I got to give it to you that you've been there, you've done that, you've come out of it. So glad that it's finally done, and also
Mm-hmm.
it sets more like an example to people who probably have
Who are
this.
going through it.
Yes, so to kind of
Right.
get better, and fight for it instead of just
Mm-hmm.
thinking about it.
Right. And that's honestly, I got to tell you, the doing the album actually really helped me. I never stopped working. I had days where I couldn't work, and I would take those days to rest. I basically listened to my body. Any day my body said, no, you got to stay in bed. That was the day that I did that. But any day that I felt even remotely good, I was back at work, because, honestly, I learned that you can't give cancer the time of day. You really have
True.
to keep living your life. If you think about it every day that you have it, it's awful. It is an awful thing to think about all the time. So yeah, the album really helped me. It helped me kind of, put my battle armor on, and
Yeah.
and take on the world. And that's what you have to do. Take on the disease, take on the world, everything.
Absolutely, and the important thing here is how your voice has shaped up in amidst these emotional moments. Clearly reflects that it's you have your own signature sound, and when you work on that and with these songs, and then you come across the disease, and then you fight
Yep.
against it over the period of time, I felt the voice has a lot to do with how the songs have shaped up. And I mean, I never heard of you before, so for me it was a
Right.
great experience to actually visualize how it would be when I probably see
Hmm.
you on stage, try to see how it's going to be. So how was it in terms of singing for you? I mean, what sort of experiments did you try to make sure that maybe come out of your comfort zone, push a little bit more, even with Charlie's help?
Yeah. Well, actually, that's a great question. I When I decided to do this rock album, I feel like I should tell you that I was classically trained opera singer for
Excellent.
many years. So it's funny that you mentioned being pushed out of your comfort zone. I basically kind of had to unlearn everything that I learned
Hmm.
and jump into a world where it's all about emotion. I mean, when you sing like opera and operetta and everything of that nature, there is a certain amount of emotion and the way to do that. But I've always felt that rock is very raw. It's a raw emotion, and that's one of the things that I really like about it, because there is no doubt what a person is feeling when they're
Right.
singing rock. Whether it's they're in love, or whether they're just angry at the world, or whether it's just frustration or happiness or whatever. There's no doubt, because people dig deep into their deepest emotions and bring that
True.
forward. So that I think was the first challenge that Charlie and I worked on, with me, was breaking through that proper singing, and just basically allowing myself to be raw and stop worrying about being technically perfect.
Hmm.
I'm on, so long as I'm on the note, and so long as I'm on the rhythm, those are the most important things. Everything else needs to be emotion and just feeling the song. So that's
Absolutely.
that's basically what we did, and I had a blast doing that. I really did. It was very freeing, to be quite honest.
Awesome. And it's got that organic feeling as well. And also the number of guest musicians. I mean, I was wondering when I
Oh
went,
yes.
went through the list that it must have been a nightmare for you guys to decide, you know, where to let these guys shine out, because all of them are masters in their own, respective instruments. So, and each of them have their own sound. So how did you make sure, all of them have their own parts to shine instead of just, pushing them into the one specific song?
Right. Well, that is where Charlie really shines. Like, he first off, I have to tell you that not one of these musicians was recording in the same room
Yeah.
at all, ever. So this whole album is truly a product of the future, where these guys, a lot of them were on tour at the time, because they're busy. These guys are like top of their line.
Hmm.
But Charlie knows them, and he approached them with the project, showed them kind of what we were doing, said, "Hey, are you interested?" They listened, and they're like, "You're doing a concept album, like right out of the gate?" And he's like, "Yep." And they're like, "That's
Count me
insane."
in.
And they're like, "Count me in, absolutely, that's insane, and I'm in." So they did. Like, he would often tell them basically what he wanted from them. They recorded, in their own studios and sent them over to Charlie. He dropped them into Pro Tools and fixed them a little bit and lined them up with the rest of the music. And then I got to tell you, it turned into something that was so amazing. And he did. He wanted to make sure every artist that he touched got a chance to shine.
That's right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So.
It's good to hear that. And also the different kind of the vibe they bring in is more important. And I was this struck to me right now that since you were half through the the battle against the cancer, and at that time, I assume some of the songs might have already been written or maybe conceptualized in your mind. So did you went back to the already written music and try to recapture the feeling after you were diagnosed with cancer?
As far as singing it, fortunately, I have to say that everything that I recorded was recorded just prior to my diagnosis. So, which was good because I wouldn't have been able to sing while on chemo. But I did have draw from other areas of my life that had that deep emotion. And very much so, and so I touched upon those moments to really bring out the rawness and the desperation of the songs. So yeah, but everything prior to that, fortunately, had been recorded. But I can tell you right now, it will affect how I perform it on stage going forward, because now that I have gone through this, I've basically lived this album.
Right.
So
I can imagine
it will be fun.
Definitely. In fact, I was about to ask about that, if you have any plans of taking it live, because this is definitely meant to be played. So, has any plans of such been done to probably, a short tour or something around states, or, so that the fans get to hear it live? Because, having an album on CD and then when you're on stage is a different feeling altogether.
Oh, very much so. Yes, we do want to do a tour. There isn't anything specific at this moment, but we're in talks with a couple of tour managers currently, and we're going to see what we can set up. As far as live performances, we are doing a live performance for the album release on May 19th at Carroll Place, which is 157 Bleecker Street in New York City.
Awesome.
So it's going to be really exciting, and I ask anybody who happens to be in the area at the time to feel free, come by, stop by, and see the show, and I'd love to see everybody there.
Awesome. I wish you good luck with the release and have fun playing these tracks live. I'm here sitting in India, so I don't know whether I'll be able to see you live. But
well, if you happen to come to New York, let us know. We'll hook you up.
Definitely, that would be great. So before we conclude, Christie, how about you describe the entire sound, the essence of the Crystal Ceiling in just one sentence?
In one sentence, it is a symphonic rock journey through a very dystopian society that has a lot of hope and a lot of treachery, but a lot of hope as well.
A lot of hope. Hope keeps us alive, isn't it?
It does. It does indeed.
Definitely. Thanks, Christie. Had a great time having a chat with you. I wish you good luck with the release, with the show as well, and I hope you get to tour as much as possible, and hopefully down the road I catch you sometime somewhere in Europe or maybe in India.
Oh, we'd love that. I'd love to go to Europe. I think Europe would really love this kind of music. So that's definitely in the cards as well. So perhaps I'll be seeing you a lot sooner than we think.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. You have a wonderful day ahead, and I'll catch you soon.
You got it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.